Hello. So as I post this, it is going to be about 6 days until administration change, and I have no idea where we're at on tariffs. I guess we've decided to annex Canada instead of taxing their imports. But the one I'm pretty sure we're still going to keep on tariffing is China. And part of that is because, it's not just Trump. Y'all who likes to complain about Trump, yeah, but Biden actually kept on the Trump tariffs and added a whole bunch last year. So, we're probably going to just keep piling things on. And given that, let's taste out some Baijiu. In particular, let's taste out a lineup from one of my favorite producers, really in the world, Luzhou Laojiao. Luzhou Laojiao is... they're kind of a conglomerate of a whole bunch of distilleries and facilities in Sichuan province, some of which go back to like centuries, a long time. And they make strong aroma, Nongqiang style Baijiu. Now, what is that? Strong aroma Baijiu is probably the most, I would say, cinematic of the different Baijiu styles, because you get to see lots of guys shoveling stuff in and out of a earthen pit. Okay, so Baijiu in general is grain spirit that undergoes saccharification and fermentation through the use of chu, which is basically like micro bombs that, a whole big old range of terroir-specific fungus and yeast and bacteria and stuff. That sort of does everything. And strong aroma style, which is very, very distinctive of Sichuan, but you can find it everywhere in China, is where you are taking your massive hot grains and chu and basically burying it in an open pit and then covering it up and just letting it cook for a couple of months. And these pits have been going sometimes, again, for centuries, so they're very well cultured. Now, I have tried a lot of Luzhou Laojiaos. I've tried the Ming River from Sandhouse, which it's a little bit of a softie, really, but it's very available because they go through like traditional distributors. Let's see, the GuoJiao, which is super duper cheap, big old fennel bomb, one of the best values in booze, period. The Tetu, which is a little bit edgy but very, very complex. And the Banyan, which is by far my favorite so far. One thing I'll say about Luzhou Laojiao is their range is... I love their stuff, but the range is completely unfathomable. If you ask me to tell you the difference between the different bottlings, I basically got nothing. I'm sorry. I have no idea what they're doing over there. So I'm just going to taste them. So I got 5 more lined up here, which more than doubles my current portfolio of Luzhou Laojiao reviews. And we're just going to go through them. So we're going to start out with, this guy. I'm going to butcher all the pronunciation. The San Ren Xuan, which is... it comes in a liter bottle, and it comes in a super duper cool, like, little velvet bag. It is 60% sorghum, 20% wheat, 20% rice. And it is, they say, premium Baijiu, aged for at least 15 years. Interesting. This is, and again, it's aging in clay. But given the price point, I mean, it's like $50 for a liter, so this is not expensive. Don't know how they can sell a 15-year-old Baijiu for that price point. Anyways, let's see what we got. Very, very mellow. I mean, you were still getting traditional Luzhou Laojiao strong aroma Baijiu kinds of notes. Are you getting pineapple? Are you getting like slightly rotten orange? Yeah. Are you getting stinky cheese? Are you getting a little bit of like a Munster, touch of Roquefort, some old Parmesan? Yeah, that's in there. There's some rocks happening, like some almost a soapstone kind of thing. Fennel. One thing I will say about this is it feels a lot like cleaner, more easygoing than a lot of the younger Luzhou Laojiaos I've had. It's not like throwing distillate character in my face. It's there. Feels a little softened. Okay. I'm not against this. There's a little bit of a butyric note, but not bad at all. I'm into it. On the palate. Gotta say, this does not feel like a 15-year-old Baijiu to me, but it is delicious. On the palate, much more dominated by the fennel notes. Now this really feels like a young, kind of budget-ended Luzhou Laojiao, which I'm not angry about. I love that style. Yeah. Fennel, a little bit of pecorino Romano. This is going to be a whole video, isn't it? Orange peel. Well, really like bergamot peel. There's a little bit of an Earl Grey tea thing going on here. Pineapple again. Like smother some pineapple in like stinky cheese, and you're sort of there. Bit of like a, what is that? I want to say lemon, but it's not exactly lemon. It's like a what is this soup? Like a lemon drop soup kind of thing. You know what I'm talking about? There's a little bit of that going on. It's nice. It's clean. I mean, it's as clean as Luzhou Laojiao ever gets. So, yeah, I'll give it some water. We'll come back. Oh, all of these are at 52%. LL is very, very consistent with its bottling strength. So you're talking like, I'm going to do 2 squirts in this and maybe a little bit more. Let's do like a quarter squirt more. Okay, moving on. Next up in the lineup, we have a whole bunch of chews happening. This is the first. It's the Datu. Come on, focus. This is another one I know next to nothing about. It is, well, it's $22 for a $3.75. It is 60% sorghum, 20 rice, 20 wheat. That's literally all I know about this. But we're going to be getting little variations on that in the next two glasses. So here we go. Also a little pretty restrained on the nose. I was expecting these to really come out and attack me, but so far not so much. This is much more lemony than the previous glass. Lemon drop soup, but also just like lemon bars. Lemon bars, rocks, little hints of that pineapple, rotten orange thing, but less so. There's a little bit of aniseed. It's like a sea salt thing. I will say, those of you who are like brum heads, particularly like cane juice nerds, if you haven't tried a strong aroma Baijiu yet, they are absolutely worth your time, because are they crazy? Yes. Are they so far, beyond the craziness you're already used to from cane juice rums? Not really. It's a nice lemony variation on Luzhou Laojiao, and I'm not angry at it. It's a little bit of like a sherry vinegar kind of thing going on too, which is cool. I like sherry vinegar on the palate. So as a kid, I really used to like black licorice. I just loved the stuff. And this is absolutely delivering the black licorice kind of thing. I've sort of moved away from it in recent years. I should head back. Black licorice with a squirt of orange, some pineapple juice in there, rocks, sea salt. Very close quality-wise to the previous glass, what is the name of this again? San Ren Xuan. I'm messing up all these names, but I've just accepted. I just need to get the info out there, so bear with me. No problems with mouth presence on any of these guys. And Baijiu is one of those categories where people are constantly asking, well, where can I get well-presented bottlings of characterful distillate that isn't expensive? Here you go. Here's a category that does that. I mean, it's super duper good. It's delivering like the lemon bars thing. There's a bubble gum kind of characteristic to this, like bubble gum and rocks. Is it the most complex Luzhou Laojiao I've ever had? No, it isn't. But it's a pretty darn good example of what they do. And we'll give this some water and come back to it. Glass 3. This is the Luzhou Laojiao Tetu. Another bottling that I have basically no objective information about. But I did see a note that says Tetu means the highest level of Datu. So potentially this is just a better version of the previous glass. What gives me pause on that is it's the same price. It's also about $22 for $3.75. Again, these are not super duper loud in the nose. It's delivering. It's almost as if you took the core characteristics, rocks, fennel, rotting pineapple and orange, and you put them down and you just like poured some champagne on them. Not like great champagne, Nicolas Feuillard or something, a basic champagne bottling. That's sort of what this smells like. It's got sort of that like appley, lemony, yeasty thing I associate with basic champagne. Yeah, there is some apple in this. I wasn't picking up apple in the other glasses, but here it is. Fun. I mean, I don't know if I can deliver more than I just did in that note. It smells like basic Luzhou Laojiao, flavors which you dunked in champagne. That's pretty much what this smells like. on the palate. Ooh. Oh, I like this. I want to come back to this with water to make a decision, but yeah, this I think I'm more bullish on this than I was on the previous two glasses. The previous two are nice. This one's just delivering more intensity and it has more length, especially on like the second sip. Like I'm still tasting this stuff, and it's not just the structural stuff, the bitterness, but it's yeah, I'm still tasting the flavors of the Baijiu. I may have to get a bottle of this. Hold on. You're getting the core characters. Fennel and salted licorice. Orange pineapple. There's a little bit of stinky cheese in this. More on the Roquefort end of it. Rocks. You're getting those things, but there is I don't know, like a bright, some kind of apple thing in this. Maybe I need to go back to champagne. Yeah, like a really kind of appley champagne, like a T&O or something. It's still got a little bit of sour in it. And some yeastiness, almost like a beery touch. But like in a Luzhou Laojiao context. And like the fennel and the rocks are really singing on this as well. They're just like clinging to my mouth. Really good structure on this. Righteous. Again, I don't know why this is different from the previous two bottlings, but in the mouth it is. There's just more to it. All right, let's give that some water. We'll come back to it. And here's another one. This is, what the heck is this? Zisha DaQu. Now this one comes in a friggin' awesome looking clay bottle. And I imagine from the name it's also related to the Datu, but I don't know. I don't have a whole lot of objective information on these. It is more expensive. This is $35 for a 375. And on the nose, I think I can see why. I am beginning to get notes of aging. Were there notes of aging on some of these? Maybe a little bit. This really is starting to bring out like lemon meets river clay sorts of notes. There's some, like, what is that? Sour chocolate? Like, I don't know, I had some Ugandan chocolate a couple of years ago that sort of had a nose like this. A little bit of that sherry vinegar note as well. The orange and the pineapple are in play, but they're more part of the ensemble. You got the rocks. The bubblegum thing is back. A little bit of the apple thing is back. Not as much, though. It's really the kind of... I shouldn't even say the lemony clay notes are sort of taking the lead, because it's much more that they're part of the texture, but they're changing the texture by being part of the texture. I don't know what I'm talking about. aniseed. But again, it's everything feels like it's been softened up a little bit. I think that this is where the clay aging starts to show. All right, on the palate. Oh, but it's so on the palate is so fresh. Very, very, very peppery, very fennel aniseed driven on the palate. In some ways, it reminds me a little bit of the the San Ren Xuan, the first bottle, just like a better version of that because it's so soft and delicate on the nose, and so like textured and multidimensional. In the palate, it's really dominated by the fennel aniseed kinds of notes. But it's a softy. Yeah, you can feel like the lemon rind, the clay notes kind of creeping in. Bubblegum again, rocks. Little hints of like orange pineapple fago, but it's really on the palate at least the aniseed and the fennel that are taking the lead. Very nice. Now that I've been drinking it for a while, it's really refined. That being said, is it beating the Tetu? For me, I don't know if it is. I want to taste these again in a second, but I don't think this is at the head of the flight for me right now. That's very, very good. Okay, let's give this some water. We'll come back to it. And now it's the one I really, 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 really wanted to try. This I don't even think is technically sold under the Luzhou Laojiao name. This is the GuoJiao National Cellar, 1573. It's under that kind of conglomerate, under that wing, but it's kind of its own thing because this is from that super duper old producer, the super duper old distillery cellar that goes back to 1573, which is, by the way, older than Mount Gay. If Bushmills were as old as they said they were, which they are not, this would still be older than them, which makes this one of the oldest continuously operating distilleries, producers in the world, if not the oldest. So, 60% sorghum, 20 rice, 20 wheat. And again, hard to pull out objective info, but they do say that all these distillates must have aged for 5 years, 2 decades in a natural cave. I'm excited. On the nose, soft. Really, really soft. Lots of clay coming through. Rocks. Sherry vinegar. Lemon bars. Lemon peel. Now we're starting to get salted licorice, more rocks, little gestures toward stinky cheese, Parmesan, orange rind, like pineapple shell. The complexity is there. You kind of have to work to get it. But yeah, this is This has got some density to it. More understated than I was expecting it to be. On the palate. Oh. Took that second sip for me to really start to appreciate this. Wow. Dang, this just hangs and hangs and hangs and hangs and hangs. It feels like all the intensity that was kind of holding itself back on the nose is right there on the palate. You do have to take that second sip to get it, but it is totally there. It doesn't feel like it's introducing a whole lot beyond the traditional Luzhou Laojiao notes. It's got everything that I've talked about for this entire video, right? Orange, pineapple, fennel, aniseed, rocks, a little bit of bubblegum, a little bit of the champagne thing. Like some kind of like a fattier cheese, like a brie or camembert or something, like a camembert you forgot in the fridge for a really long time. Roquefort, but also Parmesan, super duper old Parmesan. Lemon bars. It's just, and the clay is coming through as well. You're getting a little bit of that clay note, but it's so bright. It's so vivid and fresh and delicious. I would absolutely have this with a pizza or something. This is delicious. Ridiculously long finish. Yeah, this is tremendous. It is expensive. It's at 109 bones for a 375. This is more than twice as much as the Banyan costs, and I'm not sure it's worth that. But on first impression, anyways. But you're definitely, it's a heck of a spirit. All right, I'm going to add some water to this. 1, 2, 3. Not that you would normally drink this stuff with water, but it's for viewing purposes. I want to put these spirits under pressure just to see what happens to them. And let's go back through. We're going to start again with the San Ren Xuan. Development on the nose. Not really. I mean, it still smells like a big old softie. Like if you are looking for, if somehow for some reason you can't get Ming River in your area, and you're looking for something with that, a little bit of that same vibe, this is doing a lot of that. It's not, doesn't quite bring the cheese in the same way. Okay, on the palate. Ooh. Water brings out the acidity a little bit. I like this. There's a little bit of a sherry vinegar thing. The fennel is still, and the aniseed are really still dominating the palate, though. Hangs on pretty well, especially for this price point. Score-wise, I don't want to go crazy on this. I would love to have some more complexity. But yeah, this is darn good. If this is your introduction to strong aroma style, this is a good one. I'm going to call this... Oh, do I get up to 85? Are we there? You know what? 85. This is worth an 85. Sure. Let's do it. 85 points for the Luzhou Laojiao Sen Renjuan in its absolutely fantastic little velvety bag thing. Datu. Let's try this one again. Glass number 2. Also very soft in the nose. Any real change? No, we're still getting a lot of lemony stuff. Almost a little bit of lemon pledge now, which I don't hate. On the palate. And I feel bad because, don't get me wrong, this is good. This is an absolutely delicious Baijiu. But it might end up DFL in this lineup. Fennel, orange, pineapple, rocks. Hints of what is that? Almost an oolong tea kind of thing. It's nice. It's classic Luzhou Laojiao, so it's there's a lot going on, but it also just doesn't feel special to me. Like I don't know what this brings that some of these other bottles don't. So I'm gonna call this an 80. No, I'll give this like an 84 plus. I'll notch it right below the last glass. I'll try the last glass one more time. I'm comfortable with that. I know, like, all the Luzhou Laojiao fans are going to come out and be like, what is wrong with you? How can you possibly... This is how I feel. I do like this a hair bit more than this, especially with water. But let us move on to glass number 3, the Tetu, which was one of my favorites going to round 2 here. On the nose. Not a lot of change. None of these are changing a whole lot. If anything, it's the minerality, a kind of soapstony thing that's coming out on this, which is fine. Maybe a hair bit more white pepper as well. Hint of ginger, like ginger powder. Okay, on the palate. These are so good. I mean, the quality level on Baijiu, particularly from this producer, but maybe like as a general thing, is just so darn high at these kind of introductory price points. This had no trouble with mouth presence before. if anything, it's gotten even better with water. Yeah, oh, the lemony thing, the lemon curd, lemon drop soup thing is singing. The rocks and the pepper and the fennel are just massaging my mouth, and they're holding on there long into the finish. This is really good. I can't get an 88, but I will give this an 87 plus. Real good stuff. And can I explain why I'm scoring these things differently in terms of like the objective facts about what they're doing, in the production? Absolutely not. I have no idea what they're doing in the production, and that's a problem. So I know I'm just a pokey little reviewer in the U.S. trying to understand these things, but I would really love to see more transparency from Luzhou Laojiao and other producers on exactly what they're doing to this stuff. So, because I'm scoring them as I'm tasting them, I don't know why I'm reacting in the way I am. But let us move on to glass 4. The Zisha DaQu. This is the one I thought felt like had some more aging to it. And I still feel like it has more aging to it. There's a definite kind of clay, lemony thing. Although some of these had lemon notes before. A little more white pepper now that I've added water. On the palate. Sorry, some down the wrong pipe there. Yeah, in some ways, I think I said before that this comes across to me like a better version of the San Ren Xuan. And I'm going to kind of stick to that. It's doing a lot of those same things on the palate. This is the very, very dominant aniseed fennel kind of character with other stuff still happening, but kind of in the background. Again, let me try that first glass again. Very close. The first glass might have a little bit more of a cheesy thing to it. The Zisha DaQu may be a little bit cleaner. It might hold on. It might have a little bit more mouth presence to it. But they're pretty close. I'm going to call this an 85 plus. Lots of pluses this episode. But in any case, my sense is glasses 1, 2, and 4 are pretty darn close in terms of absolute quality. They're all, little variations on the same profile in the same kind of quality range. And moving back to the National Cellar 1573. I am darn curious to see what this does with water. Again, one of the most expensive Baijius I've ever tasted. Maybe the most expensive. On the nose. I don't know if this is just a psychological suggestion from knowing how they make this, but I'm actually getting like a musty cave note in this. Yeah, it feels a little bit like I'm just drinking a really nice or smelling a really nice Luzhou Laojiao in the middle of like a cave with like water and moss growing everywhere. Yeah. I was expecting this to be more vivid and more complex and more aggressive somehow, but that's not really what this is. This is very refined. It's very there's a subtlety to this. It's complex, but you could also just have a glass of this and forget you're even drinking it, which is kind of an achievement because there's a lot going on the palate. I mean, you want to know what a serious mouth presence is. Just something that invades your whole mouth and takes over and plants its flag and is not going to give it up. Here's a good example. This just totally takes over in the way that a lot of great spirits really do. Like, it's a different flavor profile, but in some ways, this reminds me of HERR, hair from Savannah and Reunion. It's got a little bit of that same vibe in terms of just like, you know, having a huge, intense flavor that's really hard to unravel and just kind of sticking in there. It's like an umami thing going on. Maybe that's the difference in terms of the palate. Like, it's delivering a lot of those same characters, but it's also like tickling that little umami bit in the back of the tongue. Like someone just threw a little bit of like soy sauce sautéed mushrooms in there. Really good, really impressive. Is it that much better than the Banyan, which I reviewed, I don't know, a couple of years ago? I don't think so. It's better. I don't think it's, twice the price plus better. So I'm going to call this a 90. It is absolutely fabulous. I love it. I would buy another bottle of the Banyan, if I'm honest. So, that is your lineup. The champion here, price under consideration, is the Tetu. This is awesome. This is really good stuff. Did not win on points with 87 plus, but for value, oh my god. This is what, $22 for a half bottle? I may have to buy a case of this. Of course, it was the National Cellar 1573 that won on points, 90 points. And then you got these other three, which are all really darn good, but not quite in the same league as the others. So the you've got the Zisha DaQu, which has that kind of more aged character, 85 plus, but not too far away in terms of absolute, how it behaves from the San Ren Xuan, 85, and then the Datu, which is perfectly fine, 84 plus. And that's the video. Wish I could tell you more, but here are your scores. Go look at the other Luzhou Laojiao reviews and figure it out. But yeah, this is great. Thanks for watching, and cheers.